Luigi, so I wanted to interrupt and do it first.
That is awesome.
Wow, no, I am actually taking the picture that you guys always take.
So everybody look at your camera so Luigi can screenshot it. So we all are presentable, because he gets mad because I don't do that. I just screenshot.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I don't understand.
Wait, hold on. I didn't get Pamela. Hold on. There we go.
There's
all right.
Pam.
All right, go ahead.
Got it? We good? All right. At least we were recording that part, right, Brian? Yeah.
Yep.
So, all right. So this guy's a buddy of mine. We've been friends for years now, back and forth. I don't know if we've ever physically met, but because I think there's way too much sexy for both of us to be in the same spot in the universe that's there. So we'll just accept it as where it's at. But okay, so this guy is known as the sales whisperer. Okay, so what does that mean? That means he knows how to subtly get you in and make a sale when everything else with your yelling, screaming, and doing things wrong, right, are there. So he's a guy I trust, the guy that I know, right? He's a very pig-headed entrepreneur, if that makes sense to you. So what I asked him to do was come in and share with us today, right? That because I wanted somebody other than myself to tell you to go out and make your money. And so that's what I wanted to do. But he actually has 2.5 books out. I don't know how he did that. So maybe just one of them's like a Gittimer's small book.
It's in the works. It's in the works.
Yes, eventually it'll come out. But so, all right. So I would like to turn it over. Everybody's going to do their little clap thingy, okay, for my friend and yours, Wes Schaefer, the sales whisperer. There you go. Yay. You can fake it and just put the hands up. We can do like if we're sign language, you can wave. Yes. So, Wes Schaefer, what can you share with us today that will provide value to our salespeople, entrepreneurs, and everybody on this call right now? Oh, Johnny Richards joining too. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight for the microphone. We're going to have to learn to mute him. So,
dude, you tricked me.
Yeah.
You said this was the midget wrestling private VIP room in Zoom.
It is true. It is true. That's actually Luigi is the promoter.
All right.
So
cool, man. Well, hey, thanks for having me. You want to do a little Q&A? You want me to just kind of riff a little bit?
I just want you to riff, because what I liked the most on your website was that there's one thing as a business owner you're supposed to be doing.
Yep.
Right. As a salesperson or a sales manager, you have one responsibility, and you're wrong on what you're thinking it is. He knows better.
So yeah, I mean, I jumped into sales in 1997 right out of the Air Force. My wife 25 years ago quit her job and has been homeschooling for 12. And I put food on the table for a family of 9 by flapping my gums. And the truth is, deep down, I hate sales. I hate the old school, traditional, alternative choice close, press real hard, the third copy's yours. The leads are crap, you're crap, right? That
I agree.
No. The reality is, salespeople are like attorneys, right? We like to pick on them, blah, 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 but when you need a good one, you need a good one. And you like knowing who the good one is, right? And, you read in the Bible that when 2 or more people gathered in my name, there I am. Well, when 2 or more people meet, a sale is made.
Nice.
Right? Hey, honey, what do you want for dinner tonight? After 25 years, I know the tone of that voice. And I know if it's been a day or a week or a month since we've gone out to eat, I may want to recommend we go out to dinner. Okay. Hey, boss, I think maybe it's time. I got that raise you were talking about. A sale is being made. Hey, can I substitute fries, or can I substitute a salad instead of fries? Yes, it's an extra $2.99. Do you really have to charge me that $2.99? Every single thing we do is a sale. We're selling one another on showing up for a call. Do I put an image on my Facebook post to get a little more traction and more eyeballs? Okay, so everything is a sale. And I guess I'm going to make the assumption, which is sometimes dangerous, but y'all are in this group, so you're all salespeople, right? Entrepreneurs, business owners, right? Okay, so I'm preaching to the choir, but let's drive this home, right? We're talking about the number one things. You know, people say you got to get your priorities right. There's only one priority, right? By definition, what comes first? What comes prior? You know, so as a business owner, your number one job, the top priority is to market your business. That's your number one. You know, nobody, you know, if you don't toot your own horn, there is no music. Okay? You've got to promote your business. There's only two reasons people don't do business with you. Number one, they haven't heard of you. Number two, they have. That's it. All right. I didn't know about you, so I didn't buy from you. I've heard of you, and I didn't like what I heard, so I ain't buying from you. If your problem's the latter, this ain't the call for that, right? I'm assuming y'all are here because you're good. You got a good reputation. The stuff you sell is moral, ethical, legal. So you got to toot your own horn. And right now, during these crazy times, you need to be online, right? People are stuck at home. They are scrolling more than ever. Scrolling through Facebook, scrolling through Instagram. You need to be visible, okay? And now is the time to go gobble up market share. I hate discounts, you know, I hate bidding on things, but man, I was talking to a friend of mine just today. I said, I don't care if you make 1 point margin, go get more business. You know, you have an excuse to cut prices right now. And people are worried, they're hunkering down, go get market share. Okay. You know, a year from now, you double the price, you know, your good customers will let you raise prices. They'll know that it's a good deal that they got, but at least you're going to live to fight another day. Okay. And you can always justify the price because it was frickin' coronavirus. So number one job of a business owner is to market their business. Number one job of a sales manager. How many of y'all have people working for you, salespeople working under you? Anybody? A few? So the number one job of a sales manager, and it may be a little tough right now, but it may not. There's a lot of people looking for work. You can get good, talented people right now for cheap, but your number one job always is to recruit. Okay, I don't know. Can y'all see? Y'all see them Go Tigers up there, baby? You see my LSU Tigers up there? All right. So when did LSU win the national championship? It was not January 2020. Okay. Yes, that's when the game was played. But in college football, you know, Joe Burrow transferred in, you know, so he's been there only 2 years, but stick with me, right? He was a fifth year, he was a grad student. So in college football, you have 5 years to play for. So they had some fifth year seniors contributing to that win. So they've been on the program for 5 years. But in college, in high school, when you're recruiting kids, you can start talking to them. You can start like pay a quick visit, send a letter in their sophomore year. You can do face-to-face visits their junior year, and you can take them on recruiting trips to your school in their senior year. Okay, so if you have a fifth-year student that you started talking to in their sophomore year, that was 8 years ago that they were finding talent and nurturing that talent and cultivating them and training them and motivating them and retaining them. Because kids, they go pro early or they transfer, right? LSU has lost players. We got Joe Burrow from Ohio State. So for 8 years, they've been building that bench strength. Okay, you need a jobs tab on your website. So you may not always be hiring, but you're always recruiting. And when you find a superstar, you make room for them. Okay, and you bring them on. Because your top people will always quit on you at the worst time. And your top people are always the top prospects for your competition. All right. The dogs never seem to quit on their own, do they? So you're recruiting, okay, all the time. And a salesperson's number one job is not to sell. And people think I'm crazy, right? But a salesperson's number one job is to prospect. Okay. I cannot control. We've got what, 4, 8, 12, 16 people on this call roughly. Unless I pull out a gun or a knife or, you know, just start crying, make you feel bad, I can't force you to buy from me. Okay. But I can control, do I work out tonight? Do I eat a healthy dinner and skip the beer and bourbon and go to bed at a decent time? Do I skip the movie so I can do a little bit more work, read a book, work on a podcast, get to bed early so I can wake up early? I can wake up early. I can plan my day, do some more reading, do some writing, and get ready to hit the day early and reach out to people. Okay. All I truly have control over is myself. So am I taking care of myself physically, mentally, and am I saying the right things to the right people, asking the right questions often enough to create the opportunity to make a sale? Okay. So prospecting is always the number one job. And that may be phone calls, that may be emails, it could be text messaging, it could be social media, you know, so the prospecting maybe can borderline on marketing. Maybe you blur the lines a little bit depending on somebody's role. But a salesperson, you know, I'm working with a client right now. Every day we're on the phone. I got a team of 5 and they use Infusionsoft as their CRM. But I'm working with them through just the smallest of details. How many outbound calls do you make? What do you say when you leave a voicemail? What do you say on voicemail number 2? When do you send the follow-up email? Do you reach out to them on social media? What do you say? Because it's not, there's no magical words in there. I tell them it's just like dating. It's the preponderance of the evidence, right? It's the showing continued interest. It's the continuous, consistent nudges that wins them over. You know, and the example I used with them yesterday, they have one woman on the team, right? So I pick on her. Her name's Naveed. I'm like, okay, Naveed, what if I call you and you tell me, like, I want to take you to prom, and you say, well, I've already got a date to prom. Because look, prospecting is just like courtship, okay? And say, okay, well, can I stay in touch? Well, yeah, I'll see you around school. You know, always say hi. You know, I like you. I got another date. So now this date kind of takes advantage of her, takes her for granted. And one day I show up with a box of chocolate, a chocolate cake that I made from scratch at home. But Naveed hates chocolate cake. Is Naveed going to be mad at me for bringing something she didn't like? Or is she going to be touched that I thought of her and went through the effort? Right? She's going to say,
probably going to be touched, but she would love you more if you actually did the research.
Well, but I'm an outsider right now. She told me, hey, I'm satisfied with my current vendor. We already have somebody. We're satisfied. Okay, fine. Does your vendor send you chocolate cake? I'm going to hand it over. So the next week I bring coconut cookies. I love coconut. My wife does not like coconut. All right, after 25 years, if I brought her coconut, she'd probably be filing for divorce. So you never pay attention. But I don't do that. But I bring coconut the next time. She's like, she doesn't tell me she doesn't like coconut. Oh, that's so sweet. She passes it on. So I keep bringing different treats. I bring flower, I bring roses, but she likes lilies. Okay. But she's looking at her current date and saying, that SOB, he doesn't even return my text. You know what? I'm not going to go to the prom with the captain of the football team because that dude ignores me. He takes me for granted. This Wes guy, yeah, he's a geek. He's in charge of the chess club and the debate team, and he does watercolor painting after school, but he's into me, right? So it's the preponderance of the evidence. It's the consistency. And I've always said multimedia, multi-touch, phone calls, emails, send a letter. I got this last week. It's sitting here on my desk. Second time I've talked about it. I get this card over the weekend, handwritten from the UK. I'm like, what the what? That's all that's in there. That's all that's in there. This old school looking thing with a URL. And I'm like, okay, what the hell is that? My Telegram invite.online. Well, it's a handwritten letter. I'm pretty sure it ain't the Chinese or a Nigerian prince trying to hack me, right? So I roll the dice and I log in. And so lo and behold, I know the guy. He's an Infusionsoft partner. He made a plugin for the platform. So multimedia, phone call, email, physical mail, text message, social media. Okay. I use Bonjoro and BombBomb to send video emails to prospects and clients. The preponderance of the evidence. Okay. There's no magic one-line close, magical subject line that gets all emails opened and responded to. It's the consistency and the preponderance of the evidence. Okay. You do all that with one thing in mind. You must understand you must enter the conversation going on in the mind of the prospect. And right now we got to shift a little bit. Okay. While everybody's in lockdown, there's this uncertainty. You know, what's going to make them tick? What's their hot button? That's what I'm saying. It may be a little harder right now to make some sales. You may be seen as a heartless SOB if you're just going after the hard sale. Now's the time to tell your story, your origin story, your background, maybe something you overcame in the past, a divorce, a foreclosure, a bankruptcy, how you lost a business and rebuilt. Tell the story how you rebuilt in 08. Maybe you were around in 2000 in the dot-com crash. What were the lessons learned? I've had people on my podcast, you know, that lost it all. I've had others that made it through it. So, you know, I want to talk to both. How did you rebuild? How did you protect yourself so it didn't happen again? Okay, so people are going to be more open to those kind of stories than typically. So use this time to reach out, to become known, to be seen, to grab market share, okay, and put some plans in place to recruit some great talent. Because you can scoop up, there's some more market share you can scoop up right now from people who have been laid off, okay? What did I miss, Joe?
Nothing. Anybody have any questions for Wes? Anything specifically that he put out? Because again, I know we were thinking more of we have to jump out, we have to do sales. And then when he says your job is to market your business, let your salespeople gain prospects, I know that's a shift on what we were thinking in the beginning. And I think that's a valuable point to say, are you doing everything you can possibly do to market your business? Does anybody have any questions as far as what are the best avenues to market? What are we doing? You know, we did last week. We had Ken explain the live streaming and becoming the experts that are on there. But if not, I do have questions on Facebook, Wes, so I'll throw it out to you on this one. If our prospect, so this is a guy talking, it's Richie Sorensen. He said, if our prospect is a woman, is it still positive to get in their mind, and how? So
is it still positive? What do you mean? Is it positive?
He just wants to make sure. So my answer going back to him was, there's a difference between influence and manipulation.
Yeah.
So again, what is your intent when you go into to talking with these individuals? So
yeah. So are you talking about like doing a live stream or doing like a one-on-one conversation, you know, man versus woman, or what?
Let's see. I'm thinking that Richie's talking about more of a face-to-face conversation instead of a live streaming. So because he's looking at he's at a dealership selling cars.
Okay.
Maybe perhaps since he's a guy getting into the head of a woman, maybe that's what he's thinking.
Well, you need to understand though, when I say get in their head, I'm not saying get into their mind and control them. I'm saying enter the conversation going on in the mind of the prospect. Kind of like how Wayne Gretzky said, like, Greg, hey Gretzky, why are you so good? He's like, I skate where the puck is headed instead of where it has been. So your prospect is thinking something. So we have to adjust how we sell to match how the prospect buys. Okay. Well, hello, Mr. Prospect. I have this 47 page brochure, full color, 8-point font. I'm going to read the whole thing to you because that's how I've been trained to do it. Good luck with that.
Right.
Okay. 1 out of 10 will go through that. So what is the conversation? Male or female? I don't care. So if it's a car dealership, you know, are they walking up, you know, got my calculator, like my pen, I got my notes. Like, yes, I see the model stock number 64218649993 blue 2.6 miles. I would like to see that specific car right now. Okay. I know who the hell I'm dealing with. I'm going to adjust how I sell. You know, I'm going to enter the conversation going on the mind of the prospect. They have their spreadsheet. They have their calculator. They got their readers on. I am all business. I'm not going to be goofing off. I'm going to find that exact car and bring it up. Okay. Next guy comes up, hat's all sideways. I can smell bourbon on his breath. He's like, y'all got any good deals today, man? Shit, my old lady kicked me out of the house. You know, she's got the keys to the car. I was going to buy a new one anyway. Okay. What's going on, brother? You looking at new, used? Got a down payment? There's a finance thing. What's going on? Okay. I'm entering the conversation, going to the mind of the prospect. I'm meeting them where they are instead of trying to go through the old thing. Oh, do you have a trade in? Let me take your keys. I'm going to bring it to the manager. We're going to pull some numbers. We're going to get you some comps. Like, fool, don't lock me in. I did this a couple years ago. I was looking at a new car. I wanted a Ford truck. I preferred a diesel, but I didn't care. I went up and I said, what can you make me the best deal on? New or used? Like, I like those 2 diesels you got that are used, but you got some new ones. Which one? I like a deal. Just give me a deal. Give me a deal. And this guy wanted to play games. Got my keys. Wanted to look up my numbers. I'm like, I know the game, brother. So we went and looked at the used, came back, he had to pull some numbers. I said, hey, I left something in my car. Can I get my keys? He gave me the keys. I drove off with my wife and left and never came back. Okay. He didn't meet me where I was. He had a script that he was going to follow no matter what. I'm like, dude, now, first of all, you got to follow the rules. You need to practice, drill, and rehearse until you perfect your trade. Okay. But then you practice, drill, and rehearse so you can become a master, so you know when and how to break the rules. Okay. He was not a master. I drove across the 15 freeway to the BMW dealership. The guy was waiting on me. He had the 5 Series pulled up, and they had this little placard. It's about, I don't know, 3.5 feet tall, comes up and it's angled a little bit. And he printed up a little 8.5 by 11 sheet, like, welcome Wes Schaefer, slid it in. I'm like, okay, done. Didn't haggle. I drove the car. I'm like, okay, I'll take it. No haggle. All right. He met me where I was. He entered the conversation going on in my mind. Okay. So you see, so I'm not saying get into somebody's minds, like mind control. Just meet them where they are. Does that maybe
I think that makes a lot of sense in the capacity of, right? So I tell everybody all the time, if you know your process in and out, then that means you can jump around with it.
Yes.
Right. And so, and I think that's where we're going with this, is that the flexibility has to be on the part of the salesperson.
Yep. Because
the rigidity is going to cost you a deal for those that already know the steps. Right.
Right.
So just about everybody on this call can sit back and go, oh, there's 8 steps to a sale. There's 10 steps to a sale. Right. It doesn't matter how many steps they are, except 12 is a recovery program. So avoid that.
Yep.
Okay. So if we're sitting back saying, look, if you're going to jump from point 2 to 5 to 6 to 8, that's fine, because you know every step in the equation. But if you don't know every step, then yeah, you get stuck in that. Okay, fine. Now, the easiest deal is going to be the person who knows the process already. because they're not going to argue with you and fight with you. The person that doesn't know the process is the one that argues for no reason because they don't know what they're supposed to be doing or where they're going to go. And you being rigid may move them through the process, but you'll be dragging somebody who's unconscious going forward through your process, and it's going to be painful that goes through there. And then, Wes, if you don't mind, I want to jump in and answer more of what, instead of jumping into the mind. So, and I talked about this on a previous call, but when you are dealing man to woman, okay, or for Natalie, woman to man, okay, we have to approach each other in a different methodology than what we are thinking. And the first thing I always look at is shoulder position. Okay, so in a shoulder position, if you're looking at it, if I were to go and grab Kay or Christy or Rach or anybody that's on the call that's here, and I look at you guys and I go, okay, I'm going to have a conversation with you. So right now, to most of the women on the call, I look like I'm being honest. And the reason I'm being honest, because face to face, my shoulders square up to your shoulders. Now, guys, what happens when another man squares shoulders to you? Right? It's about to throw down. We're talking fight time, right? We're gonna go to blows at that point in time. So when you look at it, to a woman, shoulders squared is an actual trust symbol, where to men, it's a confrontational symbol. So when you look at this, and this is where a lot of relationships end up going sideways more often than not. So think about it. You jump in your car, you're driving down the road. You're driving. So if I'm driving my car, I'm sitting like this. And where is the female? To the side of me, right? If I jumped in a car with Wes, we could drive all the way to Vegas and never make eye contact. Okay? We don't have to. We can talk at the windshield. It'll bounce back. He'll hear me. But if I'm driving with my bride, her leg is up and turned towards me. So she's got the whole up and coming over. And then as I'm driving, I keep doing the whole yes, because I instinctively know I have to look over and say something to her. But when Natalie sits down across the table from a man to say, hey, look, this is how we're going to propose your financial situation and go through something, she's going to square up. How does he view it? Right? Anything she says is going to be viewed negatively because he's saying, why are you coming at me like this? Okay. So men are side to side. If you look at, like, especially at the car dealership, you put 4 guys out on the point, right, waiting for a customer. I always say men have a 2x4 across themselves with their hands, and then they'll only touch the ends. Okay. So that makes these funky star patterns that are there because they're not, right? They're not the actual, I'm not trying to confront anybody. I'm going to keep myself shifted. Women will look at it as you're being untruthful. They don't even understand it consciously. Okay. But when you look at that, so Wes, tonight you walk up to your wife, she's standing over wherever she's at, grab her by the shoulders, right? Look at her and say, my God, you're the most beautiful creature I've ever seen. And then hold on, right? Because her knees get all weak and she's like, oh my gosh, you're telling me the truth. Okay. Where to me, it's going to be, confrontational. When you said that to me that way, it was definitely the wrong way.
You did get a little weak in the knees.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when I sit people down, especially if we're in an automotive dealership or in a real estate transaction or financial services, I always square my shoulders to the wife. So I will pull the chair out because the man won't sit down when you pull the chair out. So I'll pull out the chair that's directly across from me, square my shoulders, and in my head I go, keep your shoulders the same, keep your shoulders the same, keep your shoulders the same, right? And then I'll turn and I'll automatically be an angle to him. And so now I can be trusted by him with not being confrontational. I'll be trusted by her. And every time I get up and walk away, she goes, I don't know, I like him. There's something about him. And now it helps me to get more into the mind, right, of the consumer and stop trying to speak at your prospects and speak to them. So
can I ask a question on that?
Absolutely.
So back in that one company that I met you from back in the day, right? We always had to do female to female and male to male when it came to sales. So I'll be honest with you, and maybe if someone's sitting down, I wouldn't feel that way. But if I have a man in front of me, standing directly in front of me, I feel like he's hitting on me, for lack of a better word, right? From that body language. So how do you deflect that? Because right away I would be turned off if I'm going to buy something.
So again,
Like
Wes, you can
I feel
jump
like
in
he's-
if you, I can grab it, but what are your thoughts, Wes? Because
So
I get hit on all the time, you know.
I did retail for a while, so mobile homes, but same, you know, had the up system and not as much volume as car sales, but you know, it's a higher ticket sale. And there was a book a long time ago or concept, they call it right angle selling. And best example is, have y'all seen the movie Hitch with Will Smith?
Right
and
here.
So
That's where I stay, right here.
got Q-tip.
Yes, yes.
Uh, but he shows how to, you kind of like bump path, like accidentally cross path. Oh, hey, oh, sorry. Oh, well, hey, what are you doing? And it's right angle selling. I don't want you to see it coming. Okay. It applies to dating, applies to sales, applies, you know, I do jujitsu, right? Martial arts, war. I show you my right hand, you know, and I grab your leg with my left because you weren't expecting it. So on this right angle selling, you know, car lots, you know, you see it, it's just terrible. You know, guys are just, they're out there on point. Oh, but let me throw my cigarette away, and I see somebody beeline for them. Oh my gosh, here they come. I'd rather it be more of a right angle sell, more of a not a head-to-head confrontation as I approach, and it's not, you know, what can I sell you today? My question is always, how can I help you, or can I help you find someone, or what brings you in today? Okay, if you're selling furniture, if you're selling cars, if you're selling office equipment, doesn't matter. What brings you in today? You know, and if it's, hey, you know, I just dropped my kid, you know, their dance lessons next door. I just kind of really wanted to get out of the heat, and I don't know. I mean, I do like your trucks, but I mean, I'm just really killing time. Hey, no sweat. Coffee's in the back. Got a big screen over there. Make sure you check out the 1500. Here's my card. If you got any questions, just let me know. I'll make sure everybody leaves you alone. Hey man, thanks a lot. You know, hey, what brings you in here today? Well, I'm just got dropped off at service. Okay, yep, in the bag. You know where it is? Okay. What brings you in today? Man, it's a flip, coin toss, Ford, Chevy. I don't know. I mean, help me make up my mind. No sweat. Let's talk. All right. So I want to appear to be of service because I am. Right. And I also want to cut to the chase. If you're just here for service, you're here to hide out, whatever. Okay, boom. let me direct you. Boom, next. Right. I don't want to waste time in a big song and dance trying to go through my script, trying to close somebody that really isn't ready to be closed right now. You know, so again, that right angle, I want to come at them so they don't feel threatened, so they don't feel I'm cutting off their path. They got to dance around me. You know, does that make sense? Does that help?
So, Nat, when yours, is this the first time you're talking to the person, or, I mean, is there something between you, or are you just standing face to face and you're talking?
Well, that's my question, because like if I'm, just for lack of a better analogy, because we know I haven't been to a club in a decade, but if like I'm in a club and a man comes at me head on that way, it's usually a different vibe.
Right.
Yeah, like,
And,
oh,
right?
crap.
So in sales, if I had a man come at me directly, I'd automatically feel like I didn't want to talk to him.
right. And so what I'm saying is that, again, that when I say, Wes, grab your wife, he has rapport with her, right? So he can walk up and do this. When I'm talking to someone, I'm just going to position the chairs and go through. But as we're standing, we're all standing together, I will very subtly put my shoulders in her direction. I won't stand directly in front of you and do that, right? There's still personal space that's there. But most people don't understand this concept. To them, this is all new. And so if somebody is walking straight up to you, and it's a guy doing it straight to you, more often than not, that's because he has an agenda he's trying to fulfill. Okay. And so that's what he's trying to do. In the sales world, if you're trying to sell a guy, you would shift your body instantly from his shoulder and confrontation pose. Right. So you could take a step back, but if you're still squared to him, it's not a good thing. But if you shift it to the side so that your shoulders have now opened away from him, then he can relax. And if you watch him move, then you understand he's not doing things correctly, right? The match and mirror concept, there's 3 to 5 seconds between the action they take and the action you take. Before that, it's obvious. After that, it's obvious. So, but if the guy just walks up straight on, that's usually just a jerk. I'll be real. Because we don't do it, because it's an actual, I have to consciously do it, right? After years of understanding this, I have to consciously place my shoulders there. But on the first meet, that's not where I'm doing it. Okay. So for you, when you go meet with a man and sit down, you just want to make sure your shoulders are shifted, because if you're going to square to me, I'm immediately going to say, pardon my French, what a bitch. Right? You're going to walk up and I'm like, why is she coming at like she's dominant compared to me? Mm-hmm. Which is ultimately what he's doing to you, which you're like, okay, your agenda is not anything other than fulfilling your own needs. So it's always shifted, because again, there are people that you will instantly feel trust with because they remind you of somebody you already have trust with. Right? Their mannerisms, their look, something along those lines. But when you go meet somebody, you need to say, I need to be a person they can buy from. So what do I have to adapt about myself to meet them where they are, which is what Wes was talking about. Find out where they are. But I'm going to look at it and go, okay, the whole time I'm just analyzing who you are and who I have to become to make you feel comfortable to hand me money. And so for you, again, don't start it off with confrontation, but at the same time, like, for example, Zoom meetings are not threatening. And because we're all shifted all over the place, unless it's one person on, when there's one person on, there's one box in the center of the screen. That's the only way I could square shoulders with somebody. Right? When you're face to face, you have the option to square shoulders wherever they are, unless they're facing opposite, right? And it's not going to make a difference to you. But you got to actually find that individual where they're at, and then you would adapt yours to it. But you have to fight the urge, right? This is why you go, I find it easier to sell to women. If you say, okay, I feel it easier to sell to men, then check your body mannerisms and say, are you changing something?
Okay.
Okay, so Richie threw out a question. Hang on, Richie got a question too. Would you also agree with this in the event of dealing with a military customer? From my experience, military men and women tend to view straight shoulders and direct eye contact as more of a mutual respect factor. That's if you can identify them as being that person. Right? Now, if they're wearing fatigues, it's a pretty good guess they are, but I know a lot of people that wear scrubs that aren't doctors, right? Or nurses. So just make sure if it's legit stuff, Richie. But when I look at the individual, I'm going to find eye contact is great on every part. Has nothing to do with I'm in the military or not. The only thing I find out with the military is militaries like to call people sir or ma'am. That's there. And that I would tell you that's the only time I would ever say for you to do that. Because as the salesperson, I never elevate the person across from me, the prospect. I don't elevate them above my status, because now I'm not the expert in sales anymore. So I will always find your first name and call you by your first name, because I want to move the transaction forward. And if I'm the expert, okay, so like if I was going to sit down with Michelle and she goes, oh, yes, sir, whatever you want. Michelle's brain is like 5 times the size of mine. And she knows all the stuff about her product offering. I don't. But if she's going to call me sir, and she's going to go, of course, or the worst thing I could ever say to call somebody is boss, right? And I always tell people, stop, don't call me that. Don't call me that, because you've escalated. You've taken me and raised me up which means you are no longer a peer, right? And now it's going to be the student-teacher relationship or the manager and to the employee, where you need to be somebody at their level. I don't want to work with somebody who's a low-level minion, right? That's why in the dealership or in someplace else, who does Karen always ask for? Right? The manager.
Joe.
Yeah. Karen always wants to see the manager because she believes you're above whoever she's working with. Okay. So if that's the case, then don't give it to her that way. Assume the authority and talk to her at her level. Then she doesn't find a need to go above. She'll find a reason because that's Karen. I mean, we don't
0 stars. 0 stars.
Yes. If I could, they always give you 1 star and say in their Yelp review, if I could have given them 0 stars, I would. Okay. So that's what they always say. Christy's name is Karen. That's her middle name for those of you looking around. You can tell by the guilt. So.
Yeah, when she started like taunting Frank.
Yes.
So
your question, Luigi.
Usually when this doesn't apply for a networking event, because usually what I've been taught and what I read is when you're interacting with somebody, you're figuring out like the feet, where their feet are pointing, and the belly button. Like if you're talking to somebody and they turn their feet away and their belly button is not facing you, they really don't want to be in this conversation. So you shouldn't waste your time. So that will be a different kind of interaction, no? Or is that still valid? Is that a still valid point that I think, I'd like to get your opinion on?
So one of the things I always say, one of the biggest issues with using body language, and Wes, you may have a different insight or just agree with me because that's the smartest thing. But when you deal with body language, until I know you, I don't know what your comfort position is. Okay. So like I have people all the time, they're like, oh, you see this? He's sitting like this. That means he's closed off. It means he's not paying attention. He's not listening to you. Right. So I can say, no, maybe it's because Luigi and I have a shelf we can put our arms on and it relieves some of the stress off of our shoulders. Right. And that's why we sit that way. It's more comfortable for us that way. So you can't judge body language as a general blanket. It has to be cut back to the individual, and you don't know me yet. It could be that I don't ever face anybody because if I squared up to my dad, he smacked the crap out of me when I was a kid. But you don't know this story, right? And so Frank's agreeing with me. And so, but if you look at it, you don't know that. So I don't go by that. I'm going to go by, for one, if they can't make eye contact with you, they're probably avoiding you and would like to walk away. If you add that with the fact that their body keeps pointing away, but if it's been pointed away the whole time, what can you do? Right? You can't sit back and go, oh, that's what it is. It's all about that. So.
Yeah. The big thing with body language is look for the change.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cause he's right. Maybe I'm cold. Maybe I'm just comfortable that way, but it's the change. Like if I show up and I'm like, what's up, man? Yeah, show me these cars. I love these cars. I grew up, with Fords. I love Fords. And then I kind of, the more we go on, I'm like, oh man, I don't know. Like, something just happened. Okay, same thing. Clicking pins. If I'm at the table and you're talking, okay, it may be irritating. Like, okay, I'm engaged, whatever. But then the pin stops. Or vice versa. I'm just holding it in my hand. I'm like, yeah, I don't know about this pricing. That change, that's what you look for. Okay, because look, it's innate in creatures. You ever wonder like why hunters they'll paint their face and they got all this camo and stuff, and they got a big orange hat and a big orange vest? It's like, dude, what are you doing? The reality is, animals have pretty poor vision, right? Birds of prey have great vision. Humans have great vision. Most animals have poor vision, but they notice movement. That's why they say go real slow, right? Because you're sitting there and then you get a bug, you swat it away, and that deer goes, oh, what did I just see? It's that change that alerts the animal that something's going on, that they're under attack. And so humans are the same way. So be keen on that, and be keen on yours. Okay. You come to my lot like, welcome to Wes's wonderful world of automobiles. This is a great day. You came on the best day. We got the best deals. Come on. I'll show you. You betcha. Come. This is so fantastic. Blah, blah. And you're like, well, how much is it? Hold on. You got the brochure on the finance. Here, I got it right here. Well, that prospect's going, that dude, he was like on fire until I asked about the price. In the back of their mind, that's a change. That's when they go, we're going to dinner, and look, if you can get it to it, you can just email it to us, and we'll come back after dinner, or we're just going to kind of think about it. In their mind, they're like, they can't put their finger on it, but that was it. Your demeanor changed because your confidence changed because you weren't ready for that conversation. So it goes two ways. Okay, pick up on their changes and make sure you're consistent through the process and how you carry yourself.
Wes, I have a question in regards to staying visible in front of people. I'm in the real estate game, so I'm wondering, is there a platform that you suggest is that you would focus on heavier than a different platform right now, based off of people that may be ready to or have more disposable income, that type of stuff?
So I'll go back to the beginning, right? Enter the conversation, go on the mind of your prospect. So who are you selling to, right? There's like super high-end luxury homes. There's the middle class. There's lower middle class. Who are you selling to? And so once you know who, then you can kind of figure out where they're hanging out. Okay. So if you're selling, the first-time buyers, maybe you're more visible on Instagram. Okay. If you're selling, just the middle class, upper middle class, probably Facebook. Because it's probably the wife that's doing the browsing. Okay. So you're like, okay, I'm dealing with 35 to 55-year-old married women, college educated, dual income, total income, $150,000, blah, 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 $20,000 down. Where is that woman hanging out? Probably Facebook. Okay. And so what are the conversations she's having? So is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? Can I get a good deal? Can we get approved now? Do we need more financing? Do we need more down payment? Can we lock in this really low rate, or is it kind of a bait and switch? Are they going to do something different because of the whole virus thing? Do we need more documents to prove our income? So start answering all those questions.
Nice.
Okay. And to make it easy, like it's just easy and obvious, I got to go with you. Because I'm sitting here every day, every day at noon, Frank's going live, every night at 7, Frank's going live with his, real talk, Frank talk on real estate from Frank, and you're just shooting straight with me but give resources, right? Don't give opinions, give resources, real advice. Are there places I can go for grants? Are there places I can go for my small business to get some different loans or grants or money that can be used for a down payment or whatever, right? Tell me what's going on. Give me statistics. How's the market trending? Days on market. Are they changing VHA, jumbo, VA? I mean, educate me. And so, and don't go too crazy, right? Maybe pick one topic, 5 minutes, 10 minutes at a time, and they can share that with others. Because I've always said, deliver a powerful message in a powerful way, and it'll find the right person. Maybe you give a 10 or 15-minute talk on VA loans, and somebody's watching it and like, they're not VA. They're like, well, my brother is, my sister is, my dad is, my uncle is, and they forward and they tag them. Because you gave great advice in a straightforward manner, it'll land in the right place. Okay. So, but just make sure you got a good, strong message.
Awesome. Love it. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Did you say sir?
I meant not to call you sir, but you are the expert. You are the expert, so I'll go ahead and call you
For
that
those
way.
on Facebook, yeah, Bill Janishak wants to know who's the West guy. He kind of seems smart. That's what he wrote on the Facebook. But Frankie wrote in here, the military boy that he is over in the center of my screen. He said, you don't want to address back to the military individuals as sir or ma'am. And if they're older or retired military, they say, I work for a living when you try and say sir. Okay, Wes has said that multiple times. So again, you want to look at it. Galky also put in the a link to what everybody is saying, speed reading people. So he's very good. He'll be one of the ones that guest trains on this one too. So coming up in the future, because he's got some awesome concepts everybody needs to know. But again, being respectful of your time, we're 5 minutes to 3. So I want you to go back out, take everything Wes shared with you, some of the stuff I threw in and peppered around it, and go out and let's make some deals, because it's important that we are going to be able to provide more value than whatever we're expecting to charge somebody. As Wes said, meet them where they're at in the process. You need to be flexible, right? Today, in this day and age, right, every industry got shoved into, guess what? You're doing virtual. And in most industries, we're fighting it. They're like, no, we have to meet. We have to meet. It has to be face-to-face, has to be this. But now all of a sudden, all of the industries went, whoops, we're going to have to go virtual. And so we were forced into taking the next step in our evolutionary process. So again, you can sit back and fight it and go broke, or we can meet everybody where they're at, as Wes said, and then take them the rest of the way. But you got to be flexible enough in your sales process to be able to do that, right? One of my clients, which is Longo Toyota, their answer is, nope, showroom shut down. We do everything online. We deliver the car to you. There is no come in by appointment only. There is no do anything like that, okay? A lot of the activities you're going to have to do, you can't go into a business right now. So I went and drove by my dry cleaners because I'm thinking that is actually an essential business, but it's not, right? He was closed, and I'm like, dude, but he will come pick up, go do it at his shop, and deliver back clean clothes and pick up the next bag, but I missed the drop-off, right? And so to end with a little bit of humor for everybody, okay? Let's stop and look at this. And I've been telling people this for like a week now. It's going great, especially for Dr. Bill, okay? Essential is a fancy word for expendable, because we're putting you back out there. We're putting you out there where the virus is, right? Where do you keep valuable things? At home, in a safe, in a museum that's protected. Everybody else who's going out there and doing their job, that's expendable, people. Come on. Stay at home. Do that. I appreciate y'all. Any questions before we bounce? Bye.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Wes.
guys.
Yeah.